I'd like to welcome you to the April meeting of the Golf Advisory. First item on the agenda, do we have any additions to the agenda? No? Okay. I have Mike Houston's proxy, and everybody else is present. Please remember to use your microphone as we talk, if you would, please. I'd like to motion to approve the minutes of the March 8th meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second? Second. Jeffrey? Any discussion or corrections? If not, let's vote. I have two. Okay, thank you. Okay, golf facilities, reviews for individual facilities. Let's start with you, if you would.
Scottsdale. Scottsdale is in absolutely fantastic condition. I think because of the fact that, you know, the greens were covered over the winter and the fairways are excellent. The greens, they were a little bit shaggy about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but they're perfect now. And they're still just a little bit slower than normal, which is okay. But I can't say enough nice things about the clubhouse, what they've done in there, the staff, the carts, everything. Couldn't be better.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the country club is as usual, is doing well. It's in good shape. Just want to make a shout out to the greens crew, because I played it here last week, and the problems we had with the greens last year, where there's that fungus, or 16 green, you wouldn't even know unless there's one spot that they had the problem. So the greens are coming back fine with them. I'm sure that's with the crew doing an excellent job of preparing it. Other than that, the country club is in great shape.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Graff?
All right, Kingswood and Burksdale. Again, the pro shop is fantastic. It's always neat, clean, orderly. The guys are friendly when you come in. Yes, sir. Microphone. Kingswood and Burksdale. We'll start it again here. Pro shop experience is excellent, always is. They've got great selection of merchandise. The guys are always friendly, easy to in and out. The golf carts are always clean and neat. Scorecards are available. And the overall experience, of course itself, I played there last week, and the greens were like lightning fast when I was out there. But looking good for winter type golf. Beautiful.
Okay, good, thank you. Jerry?
The Highlands, it's the Highlands. It's great. The greens are looking really good. They're pretty fast for this early, I think. Last time we played it, the water problems on 2 seem to be better to me. I mean, we hadn't had the rain, but even after that, those heavy rains, it really wasn't muddy like it has been before in the past as much. And so, could you take your life in your own hands sliding down that hill there once you get out of your cart? It's a little muddy usually, but it was not, and that's good. I don't know if they've done anything different there, but for some reason it was a lot drier than it has been. The course is in great shape. The carts are great. The range, I love to go out and hit on the range there. I mean, I know people want to hit off of the grass, but those mats have saved a lot out there, and that's great. You know, later on, if they let us on there, that'd be fine. But it's not a problem to any of us that I play with to play on those mats. And I think the teeing areas are great. You can move up just right in front to hit your driver. You're not tearing the ground up like we always have on a driving range. The overall golf experience, along with the pro shop, is great. I've talked to a lot of out-of-town people that have played there and coming through, and we've had pretty steady with lots of out-of-town groups coming in, I think, out there playing, and very complimentary of the course. By the way, they're the only pro shop that I know that has a pretty nice casual golf shoe. That's I don't know why they haven't got it in all of them, but it's a nice shoe. And if you hadn't gone out there to see it, or try those on, you'll try it. Very good. But overall, great. They're doing a great job out there.
And just to note, we are on the greens that are on the range on grass.
Yeah, we
But
move
2 or
on
3
to the range on Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Yeah, we're only on the mats Mondays and Wednesdays and just as otherwise needed. A lot of times if we have frost delay, we'll just stay on the mats for all day to open it up a little
And
sooner.
I'm surprised how good the grass is. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
in years past, I've hit off dirt off that before we had mats.
It's,
Remember that new on the back is the new turf too, that we would like to have everywhere.
So I'm gonna shout out, thank you for giving a little blurb. What those golf shoes are, they're like Hey Dudes. If anybody's seen these Hey Dude shoes that you wear out, comfortable shoes, and there they are right there. There's the Hey Dude right there. And then that's gone. And then you got spikes underneath to go play golf and get out there and enjoy social golf. So
Does he get
They're
a
like
cut for that?
moccasins. What
Does he get a cut for that,
heck
does he?
is that?
so yeah, I want to know, do you get sponsorship? Is that why you did the blurb today?
I think Alex is gonna give me a little kickback.
Thank
Those
you.
come with pennies in your penny loafers there, or what's going on?
Okay, moving right along. Sheila?
I visited Tanyard and the place is so busy. I mean, every single slot was filled up and it's always a good experience within the pro shop. They're always friendly and outgoing. I spoke with Hannah for a few minutes. She's busier than busy with Op 36. And anyway, I mean, it's always wonderful to go there. They take good care of it. It's in really good shape, given how we need grass to grow. We still need a lot of grass growing to go on there.
Thank you.
Otherwise, thank you.
It sounds like at this early stage compliments to the course and the interior for the golf. It's starting out, good job in March and April. Things are looking good, so we appreciate it. Next up, Keith with maintenance.
Okay, well, since we've talked about the courses are pretty good, I'm even more proud of the guys for doing it because as you may recall, March 23rd, we had a little bit of a flood, which is not that long ago. So I'm going to give a short little update on the flood. The flood, almost all of the damage that will cost us anything to repair was at Kyle's course at Scottsdale because we had 6 inches of rain that was on top of us. Bentonville and our watershed didn't get that, luckily, so we didn't get impacted as bad as we could have. So we had a main line washout behind 6th Green that we've got repaired. That cost about $2,500. We had some 4T is terrible, stuff that comes off that hill. We're gonna have to do some work on the cart path there at some point, about $7,500 for that. And then later, where the washout was, where they put the new pipe across the creek there, the main line, we're going to have to continue that riprap from 2. You know, we have a bunch of it on 2 all the way to that bridge on 6, and we're going to do that at some point. That's not just because of this event, but over time, and it's going to get worse.
Over and over again?
Huh?
Over and over again?
Yeah, over and over again. So everything we've done there as far as that riprap has held up well. So our plan is to budget next year, so I'm giving you a heads up already on next year's budget, that we're gonna have a pretty good little number in there to do some more riprap and slurry work at Scottsdale for sure, right there. So, did a good job cleaning up the flood. We used our new protocol. Everybody worked safely. Real happy with that help that we got from HR and the safety guy, Heath. That made our job easier because everybody knew what they were doing and where they were doing it and how they should be doing it. So all of that was real good. This is the time of year for me personally, and probably all the superintendents, we have the most nervous time till we get to August because you really don't know what's going to come out. So what I'm going to just tell you here is we have some areas that look real good. The new tees at Highlands look real good. Now tomorrow they won't look real good to you because he cut them down today. So you're getting ready to open them up, but they're healthy. We have a lot of areas that are coming out well. We have some areas that don't look quite as good, but still was 48 degrees the other night, and the soil temperatures are less than 50. So a more accurate determination on where we stand is probably 30 days off still. So you're probably going to hear more detail that's more precise at the next meeting on what damage we might have. That being said, I have seen some areas collars and some approaches that I know we will have to replace. So we're just gonna watch those, take measurements, give them some time just to be sure, and then we'll have a plan when we know where we're at. And that's pretty much across the board. Every course has some. That's the challenge we have with 6 golf courses. Every course is gonna have something. So we're gonna try to consolidate it. That way when we buy sod, or if we need to get somebody to help us, it'll be a one-time deal and get it knocked out. So that's where we are with that as far as fairways, tees, collars, roughs, those kind of areas. Greens, obviously bent grass greens, thanks for the compliments on them, and we're gonna punch holes in them start next Monday, so we're gonna screw them up. There you go. So we have a schedule. We're starting at Highlands Monday, and the schedule is listed on the webpage, and I also put in little articles coming out this Friday in the golf update. So Bella Vista Country Club is the 18th, Burksdale's the 19th, Kingswood's the 20th, Dogwood is the following Monday, the 24th. Bermuda Greens are obviously later in the year. Those take about a day and a half, so you're closed for a day and a half. So that second half day will be tee times for people that want to play. That's how we do it. It works out really well. So we hope the weather holds so we don't have to adjust that schedule, because everybody knows when it is and we're aware of it. The greens at the 2 Bermuda courses, Brittany, we've always had challenges on the back of 2, and we've always had challenges on 7, and we have them again. The one that baffles us over there is 8. Never seen a problem with 8, and 8 is probably not going to come out. So we may have to do something with the 8, but the good news to that is that was a different Altar Dwarf from the champions that we used. That was the Tiff Eagle Altar Dwarf. So we're building a nursery over there for the Bermuda grass that you'll see up to the right of 1T on Brittany. So we're going to get sprigs in June for that. If we need to, then we can sprig that green at that time, and then they'll all be the same. Scottsdale, we have 3, and Kyle's here to answer any specific questions, by the way, because I thought there might be some. We have 3 that we're concerned with there that we've had issues with in the past, a couple of them. 7 has given us some problems on those ridges before. It looks the same as last year. I have a series of shots from last year, how that grew in, so we think that's going to grow in. 16, we have some issues with. We've had issues there in the past too, and the last week, I take a picture every week to 10 days so you can kind of gauge it, because when you look at it every day, you don't see it, so it's getting better. The putting green is a bit more of a challenge. Never had an issue with the putting green before, so people always ask me, how come? What's the deal? What happened? Why did that happen? Well, the thing that's baffling to me is I don't know, because last year we had problems on 9. 9's perfect. Yeah. The point of it is we don't do anything different or to any of them. So we think maybe some air got under a couple of those tarps, because in December that wind was blowing and it was minus 20-degree wind chill factor, if you remember. I think the biggest influence was that cold spell in December, because even though we had them covered, that grass normally goes through some light frost and starts shutting down. It was growing full blower when that hit in December. And I think that is why we have some issues on the greens, and that's why we have some issues in some of our other turf that was out in the open. Place you're going to see damage, winter damage on the golf course generally, north faces, sand-based things, collars, especially around bunkers where a lot of sand comes out. Those are areas you see every year in this climate. So with that, I think it would be appropriate to let Kyle come up. He's got a little bit of some information on some things he's trying to do to bring it along, but again, we won't make a final decision on what we feel we need to do bigger than just trying to grow it in till middle to end of May, probably, and you can't get sprigs till June 1 anyway. So, Kyle, you want to give a little update?
Yeah, so as Keith mentioned, 7-16 in the putting green had a hard time coming out of winter. We were going to try some stuff on them to get it growing, to push it a little more. And it may cause a little bit of playability issues on those greens versus the rest of them, such as rolling is in practice we do every other day, where we're not rolling those to keep the compaction away from them to increase healing. We're doing a very small hollow tine. It's much like the choreographication they do, except it's much smaller than a pencil, and that way we can bring a little material out, increase our growing environment, and add fresh material. Those greens will be a little bit wetter because of that turf on top, it'll be prone to drying out. So we want to increase that leaf wetness for the new growth to have that water there. And the roots, you know, they're not going to be able to dig deep for the water. Along with that is a lot of increased fertilization, and that's going to factor into the putting a bit on it too. As Keith said, the fall, I believe, is what really caused the problems. We had an abnormal fall. In October, we had a 20-degree night. We covered for that. The greens just never hardened off properly. And then Christmas came around, and it was negative degrees. But with that, the recovery will be slow, but we're going to do everything we can so we don't have to sprig. My goal is maybe if we get it to a point that we may have to transplant a little bit, but that's it. That's my goal.
Kyle, I have a question. I've noticed some of the greens are a little bit discolored, 16, you know, you have some are darker spots. It doesn't affect the playability at all. Is that where you're putting maybe extra fertilizer or doing something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted an explanation of why they were discolored.
So 16, the discoloration, you see it'll have more of a whitish color in the areas we're trying to push. And it really throws you off because the green grass is really green. Yeah. So the contrast there, it's very noticeable.
The cool thing is it doesn't affect the playability at all. I mean, you can putt right through it. It doesn't change the speed or anything like that. So I think you guys are doing a great job there.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kyle?
So I'm going to add on to what he said a little bit. You know, one of the reasons you talked about the speed being a little slower there, a little longer, because we were waiting till we get some growth before we start dropping it. And I think he may have mentioned at our time here that if we may cut those greens that are issues at a little different height with a different mower for a while. I know that's really difficult when you play, but if you don't tell the team you're playing with, they don't know that, then it's your advantage when you get to those greens. So you have an advantage here, is what I want to say to you.
Well, I'm excited about what the fairways are going to look like this coming year because we did all that work on the fairways, what was it, a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're the best. It's the best grass in Bella Vista. And are you seeing any signs that that's been really helpful to the course?
Oh, absolutely. 8 fairway, that fairway in front of the green is doing great. It's going to come out really nice. Each year it's getting thicker, so that's good. But yeah, it's looking really good.
Any other questions for Kyle?
So one last thing on those greens too that we were going to talk about a little bit. It comes late in the year, but now's a good time when it's on your mind. You know, we have 2 sets of tarps now because we kind of learned our lesson a little bit on that. One of them is a lighter one, color and weight, and the other one is a darker, heavier tarp. So what we've done in the past is we put the light tarp down first and then the heavier tarp down. But this year we just went straight to the heavy tarp because of the weather the first time. So if we have a kind of a normal weather pattern in the fall, we may put the light tarp down first and let it get a little bit of cold to start setting it off, right? To start making it harden off. And then we can always cover with the darker tarp. The additional thing we're going to consider is we know which greens we've had some issues with and where. So since we've been allowed to keep closed during the entire month of January and February, we may put straw in between those 2 tarps to give another little layer of insulation in there. And you don't have to worry about taking it off and on all the time. You can do that. So those are some things that we learn as we go, okay? And try some different things. And one thing I compliment Kyle on, he's always thinking about something different and talking to different people. He's kind of the one they call and ask though, because we're about as far north as you get. So, you know, people wonder, what are you doing to keep them? So we get a lot of those calls. And I think there's going to be some challenges on all the golf courses in this area from this last winter, including Zoysia courses. There's already some that are starting to wonder when it's coming out. So it's going to be a challenging for all of our superintendents, but they're doing, Kyle did a good job of talking about what he's doing. All of my guys are doing things like that to do the best they can. So thank you, Kyle.
Yes, I'd like to add those 2 months, I would have hated to see what could have happened if we didn't have that ability to do that. It makes a big difference and helps us a lot, so I appreciate y'all.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Anything else, Keith?
Yeah, and I need to go over our project real quick on the second part, unless somebody has any other questions about general course conditions at the time.
I don't have a I don't have a question about general course, but I have a question about the old Brooksdale construction. Are you doing something over on the part 3, like along 71 there? I drove by there today and there's some activity
Yes,
going on.
we got a permit from the city. We're mowing that with the brush hog, so those severe bunkers that were greens in the bunkers themselves, we couldn't maintain them with the labor we had, so they didn't look good. So we got a permission from the city and a permit that we could fill those and knock off some of the mounds, and they allowed us to do anything that was above the existing floodplain. That's why we didn't do any more than we did. So we got that done. We put grass seed on it today, and it'll come up and it'll make it easier for us to mow. Because that is in a floodplain, you can't go below normal. So we got a permit and we got it done. Mac did it in-house too. Mac did it for us. So that's what that was over there. So projects, this is not my project, but it interferes with everybody. It's 340, the bridge. Well, I'm here to tell you that we won't get that back any sooner than August at the best, and that is very, and he's not real confident of that. And he explained to me why that was, because there's some kind of, they're having a conflict between the big bridge and the little bridge and elevations and the RDOT's involved. I don't understand what they're doing, but it won't be before August. Matter of fact, he said the big bridge is probably another year out as well. So you can get used to that traffic jam there unless something miraculously happens, which I...
We need a hovercraft.
So we're not gonna be able to get our number 6T and stuff. Now, for me, practical wise, that's not all that bad if we get it in August, but for the golfing, it's not great, but that's kind of where we're sitting. So the tunnel, the one-way tunnel and all that, we're going through the summer, more than likely. So prepare your mentality for that as you go forward. The Bella Vista Country Club Pump House stabilization, if you drive by there, you can see all the riprap they've already got on there. They've done that one side facing 340, and they've already today, they got a lot of it done on the side that would face 5 Green. They're pouring a wall in there so they can do a deck so we can get to our wet well for all the detail that you probably don't care about. But the last part of it, because I've been asked this, the rocks don't look like they're very big. And then will they stay? Well, underneath there are big base rocks, okay? You don't see those. That's how the engineer designed it. And then you use the other rock on top that does have some silt and stuff in it that they wash down in there that gets in there, which is really kind of like a cement. And then all of it will be slurried. So that will keep water from getting inside. And there's a mat underneath on the bank too that keeps it from undermining. So they're following all the specs. The inspector's out here every day. He's checking before they do anything. So I'm confident it's going to work. It's the same team that did the bridges at Scottsdale and the bridge there on 5. So that's worked really well. The other project we got is on Burksdale is the bridge removal. They had the entire bridge out of there in less than a day. But now they're working on the riprap, which is to restabilize the bank. The south side is finished. The north side, it's gonna take 20 loads of riprap to have to come through that side of the golf course. But we have a pretty decent trail for them to go, which doesn't interfere with golf very much. The only interference is we've asked the golf shop to move signs. To play 2 green, you need to go across in front of the green to get to 3-2. They think they're looking at another 10 days to have that totally cleaned up and out of there. Give it all back to us, and that's within their time frame. And I just got to say, you know, we had a lot of bids on this, and I know we talked about it once, but I won't say it again because, you know, we had the engineers thought it might be $200-something thousand. 2 of the bids came in at $200,000. This company came in at $60,000. So this is a good thing.
Let's keep with that.
And we're going to have it out of there, and the Traco operator is telling me every day, and all the kayakers here love it. They want to know when we're going to tear down the wall at Bella Vista Lake up there. I said, we don't have anything to do with that. But it's cleared, and it looks a lot better.
By the way, I played golf with a guy today on number 5 at Country Club, and of course he was over in the riprap off his tee shot, and he wanted to know if that was a free drop. And I said, well, as bad as you hit that, I don't think it matters. You know, so no, I'm just kidding. But the other thing somebody asked me about this today, and I just wanted to know, is there any concern at all about the bridge between 7 and 8 on Kingswood? Is that in stable condition? There's concern that if we lost that bridge somehow.
Oh, that's the other pier bridge? That's what that one is? That's the pier bridge, right? We've looked at it, we don't see anything there. That's something that will come up at some point where an arch bridge, there was a plan done prior to me getting here where they would put arch bridges in every one of those. And that one was on the list, and that one was toward the tail end of the list when they did the study originally, because it was the safest one. That one will come back up at some point.
They did an improvement, what is it, a year ago, they fixed the ramp. I mean, all of a sudden you don't, lose everything, lose your mind on that because it's all level now. But that bridge is okay, it's stable, we don't have any concern over it.
Yeah, the piers that hold the bridge itself have not moved. That was the approach, which tends to settle. That's why we fixed that. However, there will be a day that you'll want to get those piers out of there because they're a lot of trouble with, they get hit by debris. That's what eventually took the one on 18, a tree took it out. So that one is on the list, but as I say, when they did the original, that was the least critical one out of all of them.
Okay, anything else for Keith?
Yeah, just a comment on projects. Last year we talked about redoing a course, fairways in a course. Where does that sit in our long-range plans, in your mind?
In my mind, my mind doesn't matter. Where it really sits is we're doing Tanyard this year, so we can, the hub, so those are two huge projects, so those have to be completed. So it's sometime after that. I will tell you that we've interviewed an architect this week to look at helping us with the Tanyard outside of the building that Daryl's going to talk to you about probably, to do the short game area and build a putting green over there on that hill and a lot of things like that. He's a really good architect. I've worked with him before, and you're not paying him for a name or an ego. Okay, so I showed him around both Highlands and Bella Vista Country Club on the things that I shared with him ideas I already had at Bella Vista Country Club and Highlands, and told him these are two golf courses that in sometime in the near future would be a target to upgrade. We're 2 or 3 years out from that, I would say. Tom, you can comment on that if you like.
I think it's important to put it as a goal to get it done if we're going to go do it, because every year we talk about doing something like that, and every year it gets moves out and moves out and moves out. We put a stake in the ground and say we're going to do it in 2025 or whatever. We can budget and get it done, but just keep because always something comes up that gets in its way, and that gets lower priority.
What do you think a project like that to do the country club would cost?
Oh, I don't know.
There lies the problem. But no, we have a plan laid out on where we're going in the next 5 years.
Anything else? Okay, the agenda item is obviously incorrect. Daryl is here, that's my error. So Alex will not speak for Daryl today, we'll let Daryl speak for himself, so, thank you.
What? I was hoping Alex was. He did a good job last week. Thanks for standing in for me, or last time. I'm gonna start with the story of March. Cold, rain, more rain, and followed by a flood. So looking at the rounds, we were rocking, rolling in February, came to March, and March was down 1,397 over last year. Membership rounds were down, and guests were up 165. But the good news is year to date, we had 20,652. We up 2,600 over last year's, which is awesome. So we're going to keep growing on that if we can maintain it. I'm going to tell you, April has started phenomenal. Oh, yeah. We are busy. I'm talking about, when we do golf courses and redoing fairways, right now rounds are up year over year over year. So if we close a golf course, it's going to be packed, and we won't be able to get everybody on. But one thing I want to point out in March, our Pro Shop sales finished at 131% to budget, and that's phenomenal when you don't have the traffic, when courses are closed. We get our staff to get very creative in those pro shops, so when somebody does come in, we approach them and we get a sale. Also, our fitting days, all the new clubs are out. We've had them come in. We have filled up every position and fitting days up till now. We're still looking for spots for Callaway and TaylorMade coming on for their second time around. But we close. Our percentage in closing on those fitting days is phenomenal. So our membership come out, they like the fitting days one-on-one, and they're buying products. So shout out to Leslie, Hannah, all our pros that go there for the fitting days. We've got Titleist on Friday and it's full. We actually had to add another one, and we called the rep to say the fitter, professional fitter, can you stay another 45 minutes? Because man, afterwards I got a long way to go back home on a Friday night. Come on, man, please stay. But he's going to stay. We're going to have that sale. So that's a good deal. One thing is up in March, and this comes into play with the rain. You know, it's raining. We had those showers come on and off. Our range was busy still. 6,140 buckets, all our ranges, which is 1,267 over last year. So year to date, we had 12,000, almost 13,000 buckets already. That's almost 4,000 over last year. They just keep rolling. Those ranges keep going. As Sheila said, I would drive around on weekends to see what we're doing. You got people Saturday and Sunday at Tanya Creek and at Highlands waiting for bays. It's busy. It's a hub and it's exciting. So there's a rounds report. It's going to be a great April. Let's keep rolling. And thanks to Keith and his crew and the members for supporting us.
You know, I'm going to just make a shout out to the POA board for the new way we do the activities. With not, you know, I just love the new system where we have free range balls and we have a lot of other things that are involved with the POA that have made it so much more user friendly for all of us who live here. And I know the kids are loving the range balls, and it's great to see families out there and dads and sons and daughters and whole families out there using the range ball situation with the activity cards. So, you know, just a shout out to the POA for just doing a fantastic job for those of us who live here. The other shout out I want to give is, Keith, to all your maintenance crews. I don't think we say enough, and I don't think we thank them enough for when we have one of these big flood things that we have now almost yearly, if not more than once a year. Thanks so much to all of their hard work. I mean, that is a lot of work to get our courses back in shape, to get all that rock off the courses, off the fairways, to get the greens back in shape. And I know they put in a lot of extra work and a lot of overtime to make that playable for us again. Just hats off. Thank you so much. And please pass that along from all of us here.
I definitely will do that. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give a shout out to you all. I challenged you a couple months ago for cart tags. So we came out with cart tags, and this is what cart tags goes in the cart. It will be facing the driver. We've kind of customized it. Once I got it from you, we went to the pros and we kind of visited. And for everybody to see, I've made it just a little bigger. So what we got up at the top corner, make it a little personal. So Highlands will have it. It's got the head professional's name and the Pro Shop number on there. I think it's very, very important. Looking at it, you get in there on the back of a scorecard. Who looks at the back of the scorecard? Where do we write? In the middle, right? We don't look at the back. So there's one thing. And then we've got the one saying that you all came up with. If you see something that needs our attention, please call the Pro Shop for our intervention. There it is right there. Now, so play on words, call us, let us know. We'll get out there. And then the big one, each one has a separate one. A divot repair shows you care. There it is. So each other one will have something, thanks to Mr. Gary Mertz. There it is, but we got something on each one that reads, you know, I went to another golf course and they had 8 rules. By number 2, I was like, it's my turn to hit a golf ball. I never looked at it again. So we're putting 1 or 2 out there to go. And then we came up with an idea that not many people know, but today's play is very, very crucial. So today's play is on the internet, shows you what's going on each golf course, 90 degrees, frost delays, what's happening, carts on path, and we got a little QR code. So anybody in the cart that gets in that is forgotten or gets to the tee box and can't remember or walk past those 20 signs we have to say carts on path, you can scan it and it will tell you what it is. So that is more of an educational deal. I want people to use Today Play every morning. You know, Keith's crew puts it up there before 7, so you can look at it. You don't have to show up at the country club, walk in and what's today's play? It's carts on path. Oh, really? It's right there. They do a great job, and I think it's a great tool, and I want our membership to use it. So everybody, every course has its own little stuff, and it also shows who my people are that are in charge of that. I'm proud of the team. So those will be out by Friday this week. We just got them finally printed, but they are small. We couldn't put all 6 or 7 or 4 of them on there. We got them all differently, and we'll see how that goes. We can make adjustments next year, but I'm excited. Thank you for your help on that. That was kind of cool.
Hey, Daryl, because you mentioned preparing divots, I forgot to tell everyone that Divot Day is the 25th of April at Dogwood. They do that every year. That is a huge help for our staff. And then they have a little neighborhood social afterwards for everybody to go to. So they have 25 people signed up right now to do that. They did the entire golf course last year in half a day.
It's great.
Can I ask
So
a question about the divots?
your mic.
Thank you. Last fall, we talked about doing some kind of education about how to encourage people to fix divots. And we provided all kinds of feedback on what to include, and I thought that was going to be on the cart tag. So what's become of that?
It is. There is, Friends of Highlands gave out little divot tools with QR codes so they can watch the video. We promoted it. It's on Facebook. It's also on our weekly update that goes out. And then as these greens come in, right now, as everybody said today, they're pretty firm. The greens are in great shape. When we start to sprig them and make them soft, Keith and I will get out and make another video. And we've got more divot repairs to put out again. It's an ongoing education that we will keep doing and reminding people as the terrain changes. So right now, divots are out there and we are seeing people fix them. We just got to keep educating every quarter, pretty much is what it is.
Have you had any feedback from people using the divot tools or getting them? Is that pretty popular, or is it kind of just don't really know?
We give them out, we hope they can use it.
Gotcha.
That's all we're gonna do. You know, I get out with the family, we do 1, we do 3 on each green as best we can. That's all we encourage people to do.
And we talked about last year about developing a Friends of the Country Club. Is that any progress there?
Gavin's had knocked on some doors and been closed on his face quite a few times too.
Yeah.
But he's working on it, it's on his to-do list. It's just getting somebody to get up and run it, do a fundraiser, get people involved. He's on it. All right, moving on real quick. I've got 2 things that's super exciting and I want to jump into something else. So PGA Hope, you know, a lot of times, and I'm going to put this out to the board too, is listen to our membership. I have a lot of people that hit me up with certain things, but this was brought to me by one of our only members that I kind of sat down and said, you got a real good point. It's called PGA Hope, and that is disabled veterans teaching them to play golf. And he said, you know, do we have any of that around? I've seen it. I saw it in the PGA Championships. They had a little blurb on TV about it. And I said, you know what? It's a good point. Let me look into that. So we looked into it, and it's a long story long. We have a Northwest Arkansas PGA Hope program, and I'm super excited to be part of the 4 pros that do it. I don't head it up because it's a daily thing. It's a lot of time consuming. I don't have enough time, but I got a retired PGA professional that head it up. Mr. Mike's heading it up. I'm helping him. I just got done today. We're helping disabled vets to play golf. Anyone that's disabled. We have a semi-blind person. We've got a deaf person. We've got somebody amputees. And it's exciting to get them out of their homes and play. We have members that have never played golf. 2 of them are at this clinic, and the other day they were at Kingswood. I was walking into Kingswood Pro Shop, and he was walking down, or not walking down, he got in a cart, rode down the hill to go practice his putting, because today was his putting deal, and I got to see him today. So it is super exciting. This is something we started in Northwest Arkansas, and it's going to grow. So we have to do it, just so everyone knows, we do it at the first tee, because as you hear it, our ranges are packed. So first tee are letting us do it down there in Lowell. 1, because it's from 12:30 to 2:30, and it's quiet because all the kids are in school. So it works out pretty good. So we get out there, we do it. You can't have kids running around. With disabled vets, you need space, you need time. We're going to come back, and with their graduation, it's a 2-month course, and their graduation will be on Burksdale. So we'll take them out on the course, they'll play, They have a representative from the PGA, and somebody will take that and take the top graduate and possibly go to play in front of the PGA in New York City sometime on Monday. We don't know, but this is exciting for Northwest Arkansas. So I'm involved in that, so if you see me driving everywhere, that's what I'm doing too.
Do you
So
need
it's-
any volunteers for that?
You can't volunteer. It's a, well, you say you can't volunteer, it's a study course put on by the PGA. It is intense. I had to go to many schools to get there, because you just can't get out there and do it. They react to
Well,
different.
You know, I'm just thinking of when we go to Bergsdale, have that fun run, we need people to facilitate.
No, we get out there, a lot of these individuals are socially shy, have many stuff. We get educated on each one individually, and we have to handle them each one. So bringing the public into it, we're good, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna make it work. So
How's it
I
funded?
appreciate it. Sorry?
How's it funded?
How's it funded? Through the PGA. We put in for a fund to do it, to start it. They funded us, and we're growing through it. The vets don't pay for anything. This is all put on.
Do you
by
need
the
any
PGA.
help from
We
our
are good.
community?
We are good right now. We really appreciate it. At some time, if this keeps growing, we might want to start some type of charity to get those disabled carts. You know, it comes out of Tulsa. Tulsa's got a few of them. We don't have any of them that need them this time, but our next course, that if we ramp up and we need somebody and they submit it, we have to bring it from Tulsa up here to use these carts. They cost $10,000 for the cart. It straps them in, puts them in the position to make the swing. There's ways around it, but that's what we might have to do at some
Well,
point.
Daryl, please keep us posted, because I know I'm kind of in charge of the Futures Cup.
Yes, sir.
And I know the guys that play in the Futures Cup would love to contribute to
Yes, sir.
something like that. So if you need
I
extra
appreciate it.
funds at some point, let us know.
Awesome. This is all green for me. It's all new, and the PGA pros that are involved. We got a guy from Springdale, guy from Shadow Valley, and we've been putting it together, and it's exciting. So just so we are part of it, and we got our members.
How many players do we have that are participating, or disabled players?
Right now, we are at 16. We're only limited per group to 16.
How many of them from Bella Vista per?
2 right now. But we got some from Bentonville. We got it's Northwest Arkansas.
So we're the only
Right now, it's
course,
totally Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest Arkansas.
we're the only group in, or facility that's
Arkansas.
doing it in Northwest Arkansas.
Correct.
Man, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's a
Thank you.
great program.
It's very humbling, and it's exciting. I asked my wife. I got home the first time. Well, first I got home and I passed my test. I was like, yes. And then I got on the next week, and I went out there and I came home. I was smiling. She goes, "You had a good day." I said, "I'm humbled. You know, I am truly humbled. These guys gave their lives to serve this country, and we had a lot of fun. To get them out of their homes where they just normally sit at home, they were excited. I mean, today I pulled up, somebody been waiting there now. He was just so excited to do it. He had somebody driving there because he's going to drive, and he's sitting there, he's like, let's go, it's ready. He helped me set up, he was ready. It's touching, very touching.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On that note, the Champions Club, which was started here, and I appreciate the JSC for starting the Champions Club that is keeping the carts on path for the winter. It's a volunteer club. We had 23 sign up. I'd love to see it grow, but as a thank you, I want those participants that signed up for it to swing by Golf Operations during the week. We're going to put it in the update this week to collect a thank you from the Golf Operations. Those people that participated, I got a little prize for them, and I really appreciate them for doing that. So swing by. So it's kind of cool. But thank you for starting that. Now we're going to see if this works. I want to give another shout out real quick. I'm going to flip through some pictures. We had our annual night golf event, Shot in the Dark, which is put together from some individuals that helped for the juniors. We got our sponsors. It's phenomenal. It was a full field. Night golf is a blast. Alex and his crew do a fantastic job. They really do. It's a scary time driving golf carts, but we've got Tough Coat, Clear Creek, Deal Enterprises, Sunbeam, H&K, Venable Brewing, and Smith's Barbecue. They helped us put it on, you know, from the food to the beverages on the golf course. And then as we go through it, I'm just going to scroll through it. If nobody has seen Shot in the Dark, we start off with a putt-putt course around there. And so putt-putt, you go around, you have a lot of fun before it. I gotta be told to get the microphone a little closer, so I'm gonna sit down. So you have a little putt-putt going through, people stand around, we have our food, it gets dark, And when it gets dark, but you can have a look. They have ones you can make hole-in-ones. It's social. We have music going. Then when it gets dark, off we go. And that's kind of right at sunset. But that was the first ball hit on number 18 at Highlands. Watching
It
the
was
ball.
dark at that time, trust me.
That is a golf cart going too fast. So you put a little strobe on there and you can kind of see it. It's really cool. There's another one. It's phenomenal. We had people stopping by, just kind of watching how it goes. I'm going quickly. There's someone off the front tees on number 10. It's everybody hanging around. They light up their golf carts. They get ready. It's just a great time. Look at that cart. Got everything underneath, ready to roll. They go, someone dressing up. They come down from Kansas City every year. They have not missed. This was our 4th one, so it was really good. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun. So I'm going to shout out to Alex and his team and all the participants. We put that online on Friday night for sign-ups, and we are sold out by Saturday afternoon. I mean, it fills up fast. So it's a phenomenal event. We raised just over $4,000 for local kids, and that is awesome. And that's what it's about. The crew and my support, WW, that help us. The committee is getting together, and I'm giving a little tease out there. 2024 is going to be a little different. Little new things to come. We're going to change it up. Have a little more fun. Alex doesn't know about it, but he will soon.
Oh, I think I can guess a few things.
It's happening. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
man.
Thank
So
you.
was it scramble?
4-person scramble.
And what was the low score?
32 for 9 holes.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
And then-
We play it as a shortish golf course, so
Still, it's-
I turn the par 5s into par 4s, but still 32.
Sends a message.
When you
don't
can't see the putt, it's
And the ball goes like 75%, it doesn't.
about that.
And you know, but I've played this before where your hand-eye coordination to hit the golf ball in the dark is challenging. I mean, it's you'd be surprised, you should try it sometime.
Some people are really good or really bad.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I've seen good players just hit it about that far behind the ball, or just completely whiff it.
What I absolutely love is watching the
For some of us in the daytime.
is watching the first person putt, because you can't see the slopes of the greens. So they look at the flag and like, I think it breaks left, and they putt and it breaks hard right, and they're like, okay, there it is. The putting's the fun part too. But thanks, Alex.
That's the beauty of the scramble.
Yeah.
Set somebody up to do the first putt, and then everybody else learns.
Anything else for Daryl? Moving on to Alex.
Okay. So, like Daryl said, Shot in the Dark was a success. We had nobody driving to a bunker or anything like that, which is always what I'm afraid of. I tell them, hey, the safest place for your golf cart is in the fairways. Nothing you can run over in the fairways. But really, they played fast, they played well, and it was a great night out there. So, like April's been good for rounds of golf, it's been good for all of our player programs as well. Our Operation 36 for ladies has started a couple of weeks in. I know that Hannah has 2 full sessions of that going on Wednesdays. Our Junior Op 36 just started our first week yesterday. We were rained out the first week, and we have 10 kids in that, so we're real happy with our participation. We've got them from age about 8 to 14 at all different levels, so Megan and I are kind of splitting them up and teaching a couple different classes there, so everything is going good. We opened up a Operation 36 for couples event that was just released last Friday in the golf update. You'll see that coming on. That will be from Tom Lavrine, our PGA professional that teaches out at Tannard Creek part-time. And I believe there's a men's program that's coming that'll be from Ryan, also part-time instructor at Tannard Creek. I don't have any dates on that or anything yet, but it is in the process about getting that ball rolling. So at some point soon, we'll see a men's program for Op 36 coming. So all of those are looking great. Junior golf camp, that also was opened up on Friday. We've already got about 15 for our first camp. So if you know of anybody that is planning to get in that first June camp, I would get signed up as soon as possible, because those have a habit of filling up. So it is out, it is live on the webpage to get registered for that. Other than that, events, we've got Folds of Honor coming up this weekend. We've got a full field. The field's been full for about a week and a half, so it's come through great. We expect a good day of weather. and we should be raising just a ton of money for the Folds of Honor. Really looking forward to that. Couples mixers going well. That's going to be in the middle of May. Sign up has been great so far. And then after that, we have the new 4-ball at the first weekend in June. Sign up is kind of slowly coming around. I've been answering a lot of questions on exactly what it is, being that it's a new event. So looking forward to getting that one in and hopefully have a pretty full field for it.
On the 4-ball, is that play the ball down? Is it?
The
what
4-ball is real golf. We'll play USGA rules. We'll have the course marked properly. We'll play it down. We'll hole them all. And it is a gross and net event for open division and senior division. Any questions on any of our player programs or events? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Tom?
A couple things to add to your calendar for the coming weeks. This Saturday at the park at Lake Loch Lomond, we're having a tour of the new aquaculture ponds where we're going to raise our own fish. So that's from 10 until 2, so come on out. You can talk to the lakes guys. They can tell you all about what we're doing. This Saturday, the 15th at 10 a.m. at the park at Loch Lomond. And they no longer are going to use the golf course ponds, which unfortunately flood all too often. The second thing is next Tuesday, the 18th, we're doing our first tour of Reardon Hall. It'll be at 3 o'clock, and so show up and we'll take you around. Contractor's gonna kind of clear a path, and we'll take people around and show them what's going on and what it's looking like. They're getting drywall in and so forth, so they're making great progress. And the last thing is ballots came out. Make sure you vote. Vote. It's important. Look at the candidate profiles online, do your research, make an informed decision, but most importantly, vote. That was it.
Anything else for Tom? Board liaisons, Jan. Jason, do you have anything for us?
No, not really. Just Masters is over, so golf is here. Looking forward to the season. Everything's looking great.
And I don't see, okay. Public comments from the audience.
My name's Dennis Fitzgerald. I was here just to see if there was any discussion about the Tanyard Creek building renovation or the new building. Is this the group that?
As part of the 23 budget, a capital project was approved by the board of directors for hiring an architect. We've done that. We're into that. They're doing draft designs at this point. We're going to talk to the board about spending some additional money on civil engineering and site work, site survey work. And once we get those two pieces of information, what the building's going to potentially look like, and the site survey and the civil engineering, from there we'll be able to get what the cost of the entire project will be, and then we'll move forward to the board. Our hope is if we can get approval in a reasonable amount of time, that we would begin the fourth quarter of this year. That's what our plan is, but we still have a lot of things to do. We got a lot of approvals, and the board needs to be told how much it's going to cost before they can approve it. But we have to do initial work, such as architectural work and civil engineering work, before we can get to that point where we can get an estimate.
Do you anticipate that you're going to be going across the road back to the north?
With the building?
Yes.
No. We're gonna at this point we're contemplating the building site will be at its current location.
Okay. The reason I was asking, I thought I saw a couple of people yesterday walking all the way back to the north. I live at Tanyard Creek. In my backyard is the driving range.
Yeah. So what we're contemplating is, in addition to the building itself, we're going to have practice facilities, practice bunker, practice putting green, and so forth. So those are, we're considering where we can place those facilities. So that's, we're still, in addition to a building architect, we're also working with a golf course architect on where the best place to place those locations.
So you may go to the north of the road with
That's
a
possible.
with a green or something like that.
That's possible. It's also possible that we may reduce the size of the parking lot by as much as 25% and use some of that land.
Oh, I see.
Because that parking lot is much larger than it needs to be.
Okay.
Back in the day when people were trailering in 30 carts, it needed to be that big. These days, we get 10 or less on a busy day.
As you know, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic there on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly walking with kids and dogs from the parking lot, because there's overflow parking. Is there any consideration for like a sidewalk or someplace or for the pedestrians?
I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah, my biggest concern with the Tanier Creek Nature Trail is that we are loving it to death.
Yeah. For sure.
And literally loving it to death. We've talked about the possibility of expanding the parking lot up by the road, but I'm really concerned whether it can handle any additional. Some sort of walking path next to the road it's not a bad idea. I think that has some merit. We'd probably want them to be on the north side, further away from the driving range than on the south side. But you get really close to the homes on that side. So we'll look into that. But my biggest concern is loving the trail to death.
Mm-hmm. Is the road, the size of the road, the width of the road, planning to be the same there?
Yeah, that is technically a private road owned by the POA. It's not a city road.
Okay. Okay.
Asphalt and moving roads is a lot of money. So we're trying to keep it exactly where it's at. Plus it's so close to the homes and everything, we can't really shift it. So the plan is to really keep it where it's at.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago when you bought the land to the north of the driving range from Cooper, as well as a lot of other property too. So, okay, thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Any old business? Not hearing any. New business. We have 4 people whose term ends on May 31st. David DeGrasse, Jeff Hendren, Sheila Heward, and Mike Houston. If you would let us know by May 1st if you would like to continue, were possible. By May 1st, we'd appreciate it. And then we will talk about whether we do need, Jessica, we do need to bring in new members because we do have one that is not going for sure. So we'll go from there. And we'll talk about that in May then.
Ruth, when I saw the agenda and you said on May 31st, I went back and looked at the golf committee on the POA website where it shows the committee members, and our term ends on June 30th.
June 30th?
Yes.
It ends on June 30th, but we got to know if you're staying on so you can re-elect.
Oh, and I understand.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But the thing of
Oh, okay, so, yeah, all right.
It's 1 month different from the board.
June
The new
30th.
board
So that they
seats
know.
on June 1, the new committee's seat on July 1.
And therefore, we have to approve it by the board by July 1.
Right, and we prefer that you do all this as far in advance as possible, so we have everything set, so we don't have any open seats. We've been really good over the last several years with all 3 committees having full contingents and not having open seats. Early bird gets the worm.
Okay, so we appreciate that. Anything else for new business? Anything else for the good of the cause? If not, we stand adjourned.
Thank you all. Good job. Thank you.